Hello and welcome. I'm Brian Caplen, editor of The Banker. I'm with Joy Macknight, the deputy editor, and we're previewing the Swift Business Forum New York. So Joy, you'll be off to the forum, and obviously you'll have a lot of high-powered people there from the payments industry. I mean, what will be the main topics on the agenda?
Well, I think payments will be one of the top agendas, and we're talking about both domestic and cross-border payments. I think cybersecurity and the cyber threat, I think that will top the agenda as well.
That kind of never goes away, does it?
Yeah, it's always a global threat. And then lastly is technology. So we're talking blockchain, artificial intelligence, application programming interfaces, and even quantum, I think.
Okay, let's do a little bit on the payments. I mean, there's been a number of sort of new initiatives in payments, particularly on the real-time space, and interestingly in the US, which has been a bit behind on real-time payments.
Yes, so the Clearinghouse launched its RTP, real-time payments platform, in November last year. So I think the Swift Business Forum will really be diving deep into what the banks are now doing to really deliver what their clients want. So I think that's very interesting, but there's other initiatives around the world. Australia launched its NPP, New Payments Platform. Right. Europe also did its SEPA, Credit Instant Transfer.
Okay, what will be really interesting is when we get to a stage when these start talking to each other, is that right?
Yeah, exactly. So that will be the big thing. I guess these initiatives also start to open up that idea of the global cross-border payments in real time. Swift is obviously answering that with its
GPI.
Yeah, its Global Payments Innovation Initiative. So that will be another hot topic.
Okay, and what's happening there? Because they've said to the members they've all got to start getting a bit more in line with it, is that correct?
Yeah, exactly. So a lot of banks have signed up for GPI,
yeah.
Which is a service level agreement and has all this sort of extra business like
and you
tracking.
can track things and there's a lot of transparency over the fee and so forth, isn't
there? Yeah, exactly. So it's giving that visibility that their clients really want. But what's interesting is that Swift is sort of making a lot of moves to try and get the rest of the banks within its huge network, which is about 11,000 banks, sort of at least, if not on GPI, at least supporting it. So by the end of this year, all the banks have to have their unique end-to-end transaction reference number as part of the message.
Okay, so it's one of those things, it sounds like a small tweak, but it's actually quite significant.
Yeah,
okay.
And by the end of this year.
All right, now let's move on to the technology. So for so long, blockchain has been, the talk of the town. Is blockchain still #1 sort of tech item of discussion?
Well, it's definitely still very hot in cross-border payments, but also in things like trade finance and other areas of the banking industry where it can provide, let's say, more efficiency, greater visibility, and also lower the cost. So I think it's still quite the buzz, just because now things are moving into more real-world applications, moving out of the pilot phase and into like actual commercial things. But there's other tech topics as well.
One of which is, of course, artificial intelligence.
Yeah, I think that's huge, machine learning. So a lot of banks are applying this technology into all sorts of different areas of the banks, again, to drive the efficiency that they really need, drive down costs.
Okay, and what's the latest on APIs then at the moment? That's the other kind of hot button, isn't it?
Again, across the world, there's been this move towards open banking or open application programming interfaces, which allow, different tech applications to talk to each other. That's huge, and I think that is going to be, whether banks can take advantage of that, I think that's what they really need to discuss.
Joy, you'll be doing some video interviews from the forum. We look forward to seeing them on thebanker.com. Thank you very much.